gorgeous. Okay, so today's probably going to be my last video on YouTube about my soft girl webcam model self-care approach slash series. After this, I'm going to transition it um, to the podcast, which I'll fill you in more about podcast at the end. But today I want to talk about aftercare for after you're done streaming. And my little disclaimer here from anyone from the vanilla world who's watching this, this isn't to glorify the webcam lifestyle or any of the work in the honey field, but it's to give a footing to those of us like me that are there. And I think, especially because the job requires so much around our bodies and about our bodies and within and spiritually and physically and mentally, this is a really special, very, very important video. And it's also something that has to be a little bit visual just because I'm going to share some of the stretches that I do after cam. And so when you're done streaming, a lot of times it involves a lot of lights on you. So what I do, and I'm kind of reading from my little checklist here to make sure I don't take a segue somewhere, because there's a lot of information to cover, is I turn off the lights, I cuddle, and then I repeat mantras. So I'm the type of woman that wears crystals while she does this work. This work is deeply energetic work. As an example, and I have permission to share this story, but as an example of how energetic this work is, which I don't think a lot of us fully recognize and understand. One of my first sessions, this was about 3 years ago, and like I said, he gave me permission to share this story. It was with a gentleman who had a liking for tongues, right? And so literally kind of just trained me on just, sticking out my tongue. And I became a tongue gymnast. No, I didn't. I tried. I'm just kidding. But that was what his liking was, right? Was a woman's tongue. And he had this thing for his secretary, which I'm sure that we all hear about men having fantasies about their secretaries. I'll be completely transparent. I haven't met that many. I hear, and when I was in the vanilla world, I thought it was a huge thing, but now that I'm in the honey world, it doesn't seem to be a huge thing. But this was you're gonna think I'm crazy, but this was a pure love for someone. I normally don't believe in twin flames and all this type of things, but I think these couple really are each other's soulmate. And the way that he would talk about her is just so beautiful. And he wouldn't do anything, except for, I think, sometimes he would order a donut just because he thought it was so sexy the way she would eat donuts. But he kept his distance. But the fantasy was that I would play his secretary in private. Oh goodness, I have so much to cover here, so I have to finish this story really, really fast. Long story short, just finish the story fast. I almost in a way feel like we manifested what happened off of the energy together in private, because he ended up closing his business, marrying his secretary, and they traveled the world. right? Like that's just, I don't know how you explain that. So anyway, this is deeply spiritual work. So also, on a not so positive note, I've seen things kind of come through the screen. So I work with an intuitive healer who also has a background in the honey world industry. I was very lucky to find her because a lot of times people look down on people like me. So I have mantras that she gave me that I say for protection, and I wear crystals while I can. So also in terms of somatic, in terms of my body, because it's those lights and because there's a lot of me being like open, like to a screen, like literally, physically, mentally, just a lot of being seen, that this is kind of, I don't know if it's a healing technique, a trauma technique, but I literally will take this heavy blanket and I'll cuddle with it, and then I will journal. So say my mantras, the light will be off, and I'll just take like a minute, and then it lets my nervous system be quieter. I've also, this is only my second day, so I can't really speak too much on it. I've also switched my lighting, which has really, really helped. And then I work out for 5 minutes. So, you're gonna think I'm crazy. I know I'm a workout queen. I have, you can kind of see here, like I even have like resistance bands here, kettlebells here. Aren't these cute? I don't think the weight measurement's correct on this one. Dumbbells here. So before cam, I work out for 10 minutes, and I actually, before cam, I work out for a minimum of 10 minutes, and I actually do my own workout plan called Pancakes to Peaches. After I do like a 5-minute workout, a lot of times I'll do like one of Zuko's Lights 5-minute workouts, one of Belissa Bender's 5-minute workouts, or I will take, this might be a bad idea, if it is, I'll just cut it out. I will take this kettlebell here, and I don't change into workout clothes to do this. Oh yeah, I don't think you're gonna be able to see me. Well, I take this kettlebell and I do kettlebell swings, but I didn't set up for that. And then the next thing that I do, why I do have you set up here, is that I stretch, because this is a lot of being in one position. And so the stretches that I tend to do, hopefully you can kind of see me. Okay, don't make this a joke, but I do some downward facing dog. I open my hips, so I do a frog. I unlock the hip stretch. I'll open my hips. Just kind of let myself sink. With all the typing that we do, that's a lot of tension on your wrist extensors. So in this stretch, please be very careful. I'm used to doing it. So actually, let me show you a modified version of it instead. So you can just kind of just take a pillow. Raymond Vanilla Watch, if you choose a counter. This is good for anybody. If you do a lot of work with your fingers and stuff, a lot of typing, you can stretch through here. Again, I'm used to doing this, so I'm able to do it like this, but please, please be careful doing that stretch. This maybe definitely needs a disclaimer. And then I also work on my thoracic rotation, especially because the pose that I do is lying on my side. So for that, I just sit back on my heels, one hand behind my head, tuck under, and then back out. Tuck under, and then back out. So it's almost like there's a string that's pulling your elbow under and out. Maybe see it better this way. So sitting on my heels, one hand behind my head, tuck under and back out, tuck under and then back out. And then on the floor, which I can't show you here because of the setup, but on the floor, I don't really know why I do this one, but again, I'm doing this one on the floor, not on the bed, but I step in and back out, in and back out. So I'm stretching my psoas, I'm stretching my hamstring. I'll show you again. It's like, and normally I do that about 10 times, but I'm also moving the energy through my body. So even if I don't do the workout, which I always do, even if it's just kettlebell swings, I always do that. And then in terms of healthy snacks, this is something that I'm personally trying to get better at, is having fresh food available. I'm trying to switch just to cooking bacon in my air fryer versus my chips because you need fast energy. So just like if you were to, run a marathon, you eat different foods then, or like one of the hacks with working out that I used to do, which is horrible, is that you can actually eat sweets and stuff right after a workout because your metabolism is higher, so it burns it. But because this is something I'm doing daily, like if you make yourself a beautiful charcuterie tray, that's gorgeous too. There's healthy chips at all these you can buy, like the Siete chips. Is that how you say it? Those are healthy too. And then clean toys, etc. Shower and go outside. And this part is so important because there's only 2 minutes for me to kind of cover all of this, so I don't think I'm gonna share that part. But when we're outside and we're in the sunshine, it refills some of the rips in our aura that can happen through camming. So almost if you think about like how they have that parable in the Bible, well, they don't call it a parable, about like Eve biting the apple. Really, it's Adam biting the apple, and the apple is what happens to be your aura. Now I just went really, really deep. And then do something creative and beautiful to replenish your energy, because all Webcam is about, it's really about our creative energy, right? And so it's them partaking of your creative energy, you building creative energy together. But in order for you to serve creative energy, you have to already be it for yourself. So literally doing something creative, artsy, painting nails, etc., making yourself just beautiful. And then last little thing, so on YouTube I have like a 15-minute block for the videos, which is why we're gonna skip some of these. But your body doesn't know who's hurting her, she just knows that she's being hurt. And I think for a lot of times we think, oh, it's because it's our body, we can push it to the next level, XYZ. But I don't know if I can use the term assault, but assault is assault. And something that I've learned is that your body is basically, when you push yourself too far to do something, that's you assaulting your body. So if you have a really intense session where you're really sore, there are different ways to talk about the podcast. Just stand your ground, just say no to take care of yourself better. But this is a trick that someone once shared with me, another special queen shared with me, is to take a water bottle. Just always keep this in your freezer, and then you can press this against your velvet place whenever you're sore. Just kind of put it like in a pillowcase or anything. So I think this will probably be my last video that I'll post like this on YouTube, possibly ever, maybe now. Anything else I'm going to put on a podcast. Soft girl worker, fill in the blank of the middle part, just because we really are being eradicated from society if you're aware of any of the current laws that are going on. So I want to try and keep this channel as safe as I can. Thanks so much for watching. Stay beautiful, stay in your glow, and I love you so much.